recording.
No, why? Why are you recording this?
I don't know,
Why?
because we always miss a cold opening. So I'm just gonna.
We do always miss the cold
That is a good
opening.
point. That's actually a very good point.
Yeah.
Honest to God, there's no point in like going 3, 2, 1. No, we should.
And then us being like,
just-
more like Shrek the Third.
I always said 3, 2, 1.
Well, if you really want to do it for this episode of a podcast where I really just want to go back to bed and just cry and get back the hour and a half of my life. This is Shrek the Third.
And music.
And music. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is why. This is why we need to.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 14 of Living The DreamWorks, where we talk about every single Shrek film.
I'm Claire.
I'm the Wash.
I'm RandomBystanderHere.
And I'm Gianna Luna.
Why? You are the blessing in this episode we need right now.
Thank you.
This is the first time in history, because you're joining us for this episode, that anybody has ever said, I'm so looking forward to Shrek the Third.
Yeah, the only reason why I looked forward to watching Shrek the Third was because I was talking about it with you all.
I don't
Yes,
know why you would watch it otherwise.
Truly,
I
honestly.
wouldn't.
I was looking up like a letterbox review, and somebody said like, do not watch this movie, even if it's for a podcast. The only context for Shrek the Third is the weird middle child.
It is the Cars 2 of Shrek films. As in, not only is it one of the worst, it is completely forgotten about continuity-wise, but we'll get to that. I'm rushing.
Oh my god, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's not only forgotten about like continuity-wise, it's forgotten about like in general. You can't stream this movie. You have to rent it.
Yeah.
You have to pay money.
I mean, you have to pay money for Netflix. Random. Let's be
Technically,
clear.
if you didn't used to if you shared the accounts, but that's another story.
Right. And at least with Netflix, you can like go watch She-Ra after, and like you'll feel better.
This is true.
All right.
Very good point.
So today we are talking about Shrek the Third, 2007. I do want to like put us in a bit of like context. It's 2007, the year of Transformers, Hot Fuzz, I Am Legend, Spider-Man 3, which came out 2 weeks before this movie.
Oh, did it?
Oh,
And Pirates of the
what a
Caribbean
time for cinema.
and
Wait, which
Pirates of the Caribbean 3, which came out a week later.
I literally saw that in theaters. Along.
In terms of animation, we had TMNT, Meet the Robinsons, Ratatouille, which ripped off Flushed Away, Surf's Up, Simpsons movie, the first Futurama movie, Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time,
Oh my god, we should have done that one.
and
All right, I'm like the
Bowling.
biggest Cinderella 3 stand in the
Wait,
room.
did you say
and even
Elf?
I'm like
Wait,
the
wait.
first Futurama movie's way better.
What was that last one, Wash?
Bender's
Elf
Big
Bowling.
Score?
Elf Bowling?
Ooh,
That came out
I-
the same year as this?
Damn.
That explains. Sorry, Gianna, there's a lot of context you're
No,
missing, but that's okay.
I can't
Okay.
stand Elf Bowling because Bender's Big Score is a perfect movie.
God.
The point is, not only a lot of movies came out in 2007, a lot of threes came out in 2007.
Yeah, this was a big year. This was a big year for. I didn't even list like all of the threes that came out this year. It was a weird year. is also the debut of an animated character beloved by children everywhere. The Nostalgia Critic. Oh, I'm sorry. But also Hatsune Miku. Fun fact.
Oh, lots of good
She's
things.
7. I felt like she was earlier. I know Vocalator's earlier, but I guess Miku was 2007.
Lots
I guess
of
Yeah,
good
Miku was
things.
2007, yeah.
Yeah, that adds up.
but-
That adds up.
And to bring it all back to DreamWorks, not only would they release another film this year, which we'll talk about in the next episode, but this wasn't even like the only Shrek thing this year, because Shrek the Halls was later on.
Oh,
Yeah, Shrek
God.
3 opened the doors to spin-offs.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, boy.
This was the height of Shrek mania. Like this, we had the Christmas special coming up. We had the Broadway musical the next year. Like, it was peak Shrek. Everything's gotta be about Shrek.
And it was before the memes too.
It was right at the cusp of it, because
Yeah.
it was like there was like a thing with like Tim and Eric making like a fake advertising campaign saying, you guys gotta watch Shrek 3, and just getting like worse just horrible costumes showing up in like movies. It was weird. It was early times. It was strange. But this was 2007, like a hell of a year to be a preteen in America when you had no idea about the subprime mortgage collapse later on. It was a great year. 2007. It was so good.
It was
If
so.
you think this whole mad scene ain't dope, I feel you, dude. Thank you, Watch. I'm literally looking at the screenshot you sent.
Yeah. I took a screenshot of Jeffrey Katzenberg's fascination with AAVE.
Anyway,
This is
do we want to talk about a history with the film?
yes. Let's talk about our histories with the film. Random, it's going last.
Random
So,
was going last.
Random's going last.
in that case, let's have our guest Gianna Luna go first.
My history with this film is very short. I remember that I saw it in theaters. I don't remember really what I thought of it, which says a lot in and of itself. Never watched it again, and then watched it with you guys today.
Okay. I'll jump right off from that. I also remember watching this in theaters, and I didn't remember much except having that feeling of, okay, like something about it wasn't working, and my brain wasn't quite smart enough to get it yet. Something isn't right. But yeah, after that, I never saw it. I didn't see it again until this podcast. I don't even remember it like showing up on like TV or anything.
Mm-mm. Me neither.
Yeah. What about you, Claire?
So I remember watching this not in the theaters, but I watched it as a kid during a family vacation. I watched it with my family. The big thing that I remember about that viewing was that I went to get some Kool-Aid, but we were low. So I went to make more. But every time that I would go to make Kool-Aid, it would be at home, and I have like an actual container with a lid. And this was one of those that like it didn't have a lid that you screwed on. It just had something that stayed on top with the little hole that you poured it out of.
Okay.
But I was a dumb kid. I didn't know how that worked, so I tried doing it the same way. Like, with the container that I make anyway. I know you could take like one of those not filling things, the spoons, whatever. I can't think of it right now. I just watched Shrek the Third.
Sure.
And you can, spin it around to mix everything together. But with the actual like jar, you can just screw the top on, turn it upside down, and shake it. So that's what I'm used to doing. So that's what I did with the one that didn't actually have a lid that screwed on. And dumb kid me didn't do it over the sink either. So I grabbed it, and I started to shake it, and I turned it upside down, and it got all over the floor. My parents were very upset. My sister was very upset. And I was like, well, I mean, okay, but, like, can we watch the movie? And, I don't remember much else about the experience. And then a couple days, I watched this on Sunday, because that's the day that I watch it now. This is when me and my girlfriend can watch it. So when we were watching Flushed Away, we finished Flushed Away, and, we were talking about it, and she said, well, what's next? And I said, Shrek the Third. And her response was, I have a history of hatred with this movie.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? And she's like, we'll talk about it when we watch it. And then we never talked about it. That's my history.
Oh,
Whoa.
but now I want to know.
I gotta ask her. Honestly, I didn't even think about it until, like, I was listening to Random before. Speaking of, we've got one other person in the room, not my girlfriend. It is my other wonderful friend, Random Bystander here.
I thought you were going to say my other girlfriend.
I said other. I'm like, why did I say other? I gotta back that up fast.
Well, before today, I actually just planned some history to say about this. I saw this in the theaters with my family, and all I remember is us just going out to dinner and us being in complete denial and just being like, yeah, it was good. It was good. It was fine. It was great. It was great, I'm sure. We couldn't really process it all
Yeah.
and how we thought it was, but it just, even my mom could tell that something was off a bit. And I never watched it again. I watched a certain YouTuber talk about how much they hate Shrek the Third. We've mentioned him a couple of times. I took his word for it. I didn't want to watch this again. Especially since there was a streaming service I could conveniently watch it on. So I was like, you know what? I got editing to do. I got a YouTube video I got to make. Let me just wait till the day of to do it. I have work at 6 a.m. Today, and I have an 8-hour shift, 6 to 2, and then I'm like, I'll just watch it as soon as I get home. I got a text from my dad at 10:30 in the morning saying the power's out, and I'm like, great, that's great. It should be back at 12. Oh, good. It said should be back at 1. It should be back at 2. Eventually, I'm getting stressed, so I eat McDonald's, which is disgusting. But
It is.
if you like it,
It
it's
is.
great. But like, I had like a chicken sandwich and fries. I don't like going to McDonald's, but I ate it anyway because it was convenient.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would be able to cook or have any lunch meats, but it was fine. And then I eventually was like, all right, I'll drive home. And the stoplights were working so I could get home. Yeah, that's important. And then I was like, okay, well, it looks like I can't watch Shrek the Third on my computer. Goody. Maybe it'll come back. Oh, wait, it got moved to 350, and then that got moved to 5. All right, no problem. Maybe I can watch a good movie in the theaters. I can maybe watch Elemental, and then I'll watch Shrek the Third when I get back. I go to drive to the theater. They won't let me out of the cul-de-sac because the lights are now broken. Great. And then I'm like, all right, fine. I see the game you're playing, but I can't watch it in the theater because my phone is dying, so I charge my phone in my car, and then I'm like, great. I charge my phone, wait 20 minutes for it to turn on, and then I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy Shrek the Third for $3.99 on YouTube so I can watch it on my tiny iPhone 11 while I'm in my car waiting for it to charge and in the Bluetooth speaker so you can hear Prince Charming singing from outside the car, and then it's great. And then all of a sudden, I'm watching it and the power goes back on. I'm like, hunky dory, great. Now I can watch it on a computer, but I still do it on my phone because I don't give a shit anymore. And then I just finally get it done. I finally watch the movie. And despite all the shit that happened, eating McDonald's, working early, going to not being able to see Elemental, losing power, and not having air conditioning from 2 to 5:30 in 90-degree heat, Shrek the Third was the worst thing that happened out of all of it.
And
Watching it on your
scene.
phone, that is the size of screen that Shrek the Third deserves.
Yeah.
Nothing bigger.
I feel better after that. Thank you. I had pizza. Thankfully, I had pizza and a cupcake after watching the movie,
Oh, good.
and I got Metroid Dread that came in the mail, so I'm excited about that. But other than that, holy fuck!
One of the somebody else in this neighborhood is trying to leave, and the cops stop and say, "No, I'm sorry. You have to wait for somebody to watch Shrek the Third first."
Shrek the
Oh
Third.
my
Why would they
God.
watch that?
Shrek the Third.
Well,
It's
as
like-
an adult, we all have busy lives, and sometimes you're like, man, I just wish time would slow down for a little bit. If you ever just want like the longest hour and a half of your life, just put on Shrek the Third.
Also, I didn't get any of my work done that I wanted to, like writing or video editing, because the
Aw.
power went out. And so I just watched.
Man. I just watched it on my computer. It was fine.
That's good for you.
I mean, I also had to rent it on YouTube, and I feel the
Yeah,
pain.
It feels like dirty money, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. I felt like
Like,
I just supported something bad.
Yeah, I didn't want to like get viruses to pirate it, but honestly, my computer should have died. It would have been bad. It would have died with dignity rather than me paying money.
Random, you should have learned from me. Don't download stuff just for Shrek. It'll destroy your computer.
Yeah, boy, I remember that. Good callback.
Callback.
What time? It's been 17 minutes.
We've been talking about this for like 10 minutes. Let's plot synopsis.
Yes, Gianna, do you have one for us?
I do. I always have one for us.
Great.
Nice.
All
Take
right.
it away.
All right. After the death of Fiona's father, Shrek learns that he and Fiona are next in line to inherit the throne of Far, Far Away. There is only one other potential heir, named Arthur, and Shrek wants to find him so that he and Fiona can return to their swamp. Upon leaving to find this Arthur, Fiona reveals to Shrek that she is pregnant, which spurs a lot of anxiety about fatherhood within Shrek. He finds Arthur at Worcestershire Academy and learns that he was relentlessly bullied by his classmates. Meanwhile, the castle is attacked during Fiona's baby shower by Charming and his fellow fairy tale and his fairy fellow, oh my god, and Shrek the Third, and his fellow fairy tale villains on their quest to achieve their own happily ever afters. Fiona and the other fairy tale princesses escape into a secret tunnel. On Shrek's donkeys, Puss in Boots, and Artie's way back to Far, Far Away, Artie decides that he couldn't possibly be king, and he and Shrek drive the boat into a shipwreck, or a shipwreck, I'm sorry, while arguing.
That's fine. Continue.
Yeah.
Oh man. They're stuck on an island where they meet Merlin, Artie's retired wizard teacher. Shrek has a heart-to-heart with Artie, and they bond over their daddy issues. Fiona and the others are betrayed by Rapunzel, who had been dating Charming all this time. He claims that she'll be the new queen of Far, Far Away. Hook and some sentient trees attempt to capture Shrek, but they are thwarted when Shrek redirects a cannonball into Hook's piano. Artie fakes crying to convince Merlin to use his magic to return them to Far, Far Away. Merlin seems very unsure about his magic and is surprised when his teleportation spell actually works. There are some side effects from the spell, however, which make Donkey and Puss switch bodies. Far, Far Away seems to be in ruin. Charming has taken over, and Shrek learns from Pinocchio, in a box on strings, that Fiona is imprisoned somewhere secret. The group stumbles on a poster for a play Charming is putting on that evening, called It's a Happily Ever After All, and Shrek is supposedly in it. Shrek and friends break into the castle to find Fiona and end up captured themselves. Charming goes to kill Artie for the crown, and Shrek angrily tells Artie that he was just using him to replace himself as the next king. Charming believes Shrek and allows Artie, who is clearly hurt, to leave unharmed. Donkey and Puss are imprisoned with Fiona and the other ladies. After being called an old lady by Cinderella, the queen headbutts 2 walls to break everyone out. Snow White uses her animal singing powers to sick forest creatures on the tree guards at the castle gate. Donkey and Puss confront Artie outside the castle, telling him that Shrek lied to save his life. And then the show begins. The real Shrek in shackles is brought on stage to be slain by Charming. Shrek mocks Charming's performance and gets the crowd to laugh with every jab. Puss, Donkey, Fiona, and the others ambush the stage to save the day. Charming calls all of his villains, knights, and cronies to kill Shrek and disarm his friends. Then Artie appears and uses diplomacy to speak to the hearts of the villains like a true king. Charming is the only true villain left. He stabs Shrek with his sword, who pretends to be injured by it, even though Charming clearly missed. And then Dragon crushes Charming with the castle tower set piece, and his crown rolls off his head and into Artie's hands. Artie courageously chooses to wear the crown and become the king of Far, Far Away. Merlin switches donkeys and Puss's bodies back, except for their tails. Shrek and Fiona return to the swamp and begin their lives as new ogre parents to 3 little ogre babies. The end.
Thank you
Yay!
so much.
Yay! Thank
So
you.
welcome.
If I had
That was-
if I had one complaint about that, it's that you were describing Shrek the Third, and I didn't like that.
Yeah. I disagree. I say your description was much more entertaining and shorter than an hour and 30 fucking minutes.
Thank you. I'll take that as a high compliment.
Yes. I'll take a short bad plug to a long one.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh.
Shrek the Third. Let's start with
Do we want to do the positive exercise?
The sandwich method, but there's like, it would have to be like 2 negatives and then 1 positive section.
the negativity sandwich, yeah.
Yeah.
I will. This is not part of it. I'm just gonna say this. Just to get the obvious out of the way. Huge upgrade visually from the second film. Like,
Yeah.
Huge upgrade in terms of lighting, in terms of character design. Like, Shrek is looking a little bit softer, especially compared to the first film. A lot more of that 2007 technology, like stuff that was not possible when they were trying to do Shrek 2, is suddenly possible with Shrek the Third, and they're putting all of their money's worth into it. And when I look up the. I just noticed that you said Rapunzel's weave she/daddy. Let's not get into the edit.
Oh, God.
I already forgot.
Sorry. I feel like it's my fault.
So huge update.
Talking about the animation and shit.
Yeah.
Yes,
Huge update, technologically, and when I looked up interviews from the directors, and they asked like if there's anything that you wish you changed, they mostly said like, no, I really liked the animation in this, and they didn't talk much about story. They had something to say about like at least early iterations of the story, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But that is obviously visuals. We're not including in our therapy exercise.
I have something to add to that.
What?
Do you have a positive?
Do tell.
No, it's a negative, and it's the visuals.
Oh,
I kind of agree.
I think. Well, first of all, the first, like, I mean, outside of like, I can see Shrek's pores, outside of stuff like that. The first visual complaint I have is with Shrek the Third, and that's when they get shipwrecked, and Donkey and Puss and Arthur look like extremely wet because they were just in the ocean. And Shrek, you have to like squint to see the water on him.
Yeah.
That looks bad. That looks bad.
Yeah.
And also,
He's not
just
covered
like
in that many layers. I'm trying. It's how I cope.
cope. Anyway, and I just think at this point, like, I mean, it's weird because I know how Shrek Forever After looks, and I know I don't have this issue with that movie, but I remember watching, we had talked about this in the podcast too, when we were doing Toy Story 4, and I was just like, I'm so tired of like seeing the toys sneaking around and how they like walk and stuff. Like, it's just nothing different anymore. And that's how I feel with Shrek the Third. Everything visual, not the story. The places the story go, the first 2 movies would never dare to go. But visually, I really thought that, like, you know, this was just been there, done that.
They play it kind of safe with the visuals, if that makes any sense.
I guess if I have a compliment for the visuals, like, it looks better than, like, Sinbad.
Yeah.
That's my compliment. It looks better than Sinbad.
It technically looks better than Shrek 1, but even then, no. It feels like it's just
I don't like Shrek
lacking
1's
the
visuals
soul.
are such a strong part of its identity, though. Like, even if it technically looks better, I'd still say artistically it's worse.
I could definitely see see what you're saying in terms of like cinematography, for instance. That there's just not much that's really like an interesting looking shot. Everything's just kind of shot very like flat. It's lit like okay. It's lit well to like, it's pretty close to like what a modern CGI film would be.
But yeah, okay, yeah, technically competent. I could say that.
Yeah,
except for that
That's,
one scene where everybody was wet except for Shrek. Except for that.
Well, yeah. They didn't like think too much through this. No.
But the problem, no, why it was so I hate that I'm spending like more than 5 seconds on this. My problem with it is that you look at Donkey, you look at Puss, you look at Arthur, like they looked great in that scene. Like Donkey especially looked soaked. And then you look at Shrek and it's like, I didn't think he was wet at first. Nico, my girlfriend, had told me like, no, you gotta really look, he's wet. And I'm like, oh, I think I see like a little shine on his forehead.
Yeah.
I think.
My thing is with that scene is what happened to the guy?
Oh, he just died.
Oh, he's died.
I
I
hate to say this, but in the movie's defense, it's a Shrek movie. People are gonna die.
Yeah, people are gonna die.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he like when they crashed, he said "land ho," which was a great joke.
Was it?
Yeah.
This is an audio podcast.
I thought I heard land ho, not yet, so that was a great joke.
No, this is an audio podcast, so you can't see it, but Watch said that, and there was just this stupid grin on their face. Like, that was a great joke. I'm trying to bait random here, and it worked.
I had fun with this one. Okay. Let's go to actual positives.
Wait, Gianna, what did you think about the visuals?
As far as visuals go, I am pretty easy to please as a viewer. I mean, as far as like quality goes, I don't know if I saw much of a jump in quality, I guess, from Shrek 2 when we watched that. But I will say I do think a lot of the lighting was done nicely. I do agree about there were some scenes where it's like, oh, I like the way this was lit. Like I liked if we're talking about the ship Shrek. I did when they were on the beach and it was like kind of like that twilight scene. I'm like, I like this like sunsetty vibe, you know. So and so there were some shots of the castle where I'm like, oh, I kind of like this vibe. So I mean that's the most specific I can really get about it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair enough. Yeah. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot more subtle because of how far the technology has gone. Like I can't really stay that far. Like I'm a huge like animation like geek, but I can't really stay that far in like the in terms of like composition and stuff like that. Just kind of like I feel that it's fine. It's safe, but it's fine.
I am very much looking forward to Shrek Forever After in this regard.
Random, since you're the most visually upset,
yes,
you're the one that's gonna tell us the positive about Shrek the Third.
I guess
I liked when it ended.
No,
I was waiting for it.
If I'm gonna be honest, a little bit of that campfire scene, I'm gonna take it. That's okay. To think of a little bit of it. Like,
yes, I am on the same page. I don't want to talk over you, but yes,
it's that moment where like, not the moment with Merlin, because fuck Merlin. I never wanted to like kill a character more. But honest to God, when like Shrek and Artie are like talking to each other about like their fathers and shit, like that's a nice, genuine, heartfelt moment, kind of, and it lasts for like a few minutes.
Yeah,
barely, but it was like something I was invested in, kind of, and then it went away when Artie said that he stinks real bad, and just like made that joke drag on, and then I was like, well, all right, well, that was fun while it lasted. But I don't know, just something about that little bonding experience, just, I don't know, gave him some rapport, and it was nice, and it was a glimpse of it. I'm not just saying it because the YouTuber said it was the only positive in the film, but also, I really did genuinely think it was a good moment. It was ruined before and after.
Yes.
But like that little moment in between was genuinely okay and nice.
Like, that was the one point in the movie where I was like, for the first time, and I don't know how far into the film it is, I was like, oh, I feel invested for a second. And then there's that really forced joke with Merlin. But we're talking about this.
Lighten the mood!
Yeah. I'm like, for 2 seconds, I was like, oh, this is, oh.
and then Artie just goes, you stink. Real bad.
Yeah, it was like Shrek getting to practice being a dad for 2 seconds. And that's like the huge overarching like plot underneath everything. You know, that Shrek's nervous about being a good father. And he's presented the opportunity to have a heart to heart with someone younger than him, and
Yeah.
it was almost so good.
Yeah, if the film had more moments like that of them bonding instead of fart jokes times 12, it might have been. I can't think about it. I can't think of an alternate version of this movie.
There were alternate versions of this movie. I'll talk about that.
I imagine. What are your positives? I can't think of anything else, except for maybe one. But I won't take that from you.
Okay. Then for me, my positive is it's really not that funny of a joke, but it was at a certain point where you ever get like so worn down that like the weirdest thing just makes you like cackle?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Try me.
So it was like they're having the baby shower, and I don't know. It's like semi cute scene. I'll grant that. Like just in isolation, like Fiona and the other princesses, and all the princesses are trying to like one up each other. It's just like I got you the biggest one because I love you the most. Like okay, it's like semi cute. And they talk about like how the marriage is gonna change, and like they start saying you're tired all the time. You start letting yourself go, and Ginger said stress marks, and something about that. I paused, and I was just like sitting in there for a bit, and then I got like a bigger grin, and I was beside myself. I was going insane. I was cackling so much at this, and I'm thinking, this isn't that funny. But, like, just that for some reason, like, Gingy's saying, stress marks!
I don't know if that was the movie being fun. I think it's more just like you were broken.
I
you were
think
just,
so,
and your
too.
psychosis was just like desperately trying to grab to anything remotely funny to laugh at to save you from the hell you were in. Because I did not laugh. I didn't.
No, I'm sorry, I did not either.
There was one moment like that where I had like a moment, and I hated the joke because it's a dumb joke. But I think there was chuckle a bit.
There was one joke that I genuinely liked, like towards the end. But like, it's like the biggest laugh really was just the one where it was like my mind gave up. I was just done taking this seriously, and unfortunately, the film itself stopped taking itself seriously because that wasn't even the point when they get to like check out this kazing, bazabi, and all that.
Claire, what's your positive?
Awful stuff.
All right, I've got two, but one of them is a cheat. And it's not the animation. So I just want the cheat that I want to get out of the way early. Because if Random's going to hate me, I'd rather him hate me for most of the podcast. There's still a little bit of it at the end.
Okay.
My cheat positive, this is a better movie than Sinbad.
Okay.
My not cheat positive is that, I mean, the execution we'll talk about, but I do like that, the first two movies were all about, Shrek getting over his own internal, his own like insecurities, his own self-doubt, all of that stuff. And while I don't think this is a problem with Shrek 2, if the third movie continued into that, it definitely would have been more of, oh, we've been there, done that. But the Shrek series is a series of movies about Shrek's own self-doubt. So if you make a third movie, then it's just like, oh, this just, why are you making this? Which, I mean, is still what my question is. But at least from, like, a thematic standpoint, you got to think. So I really liked that they took the approach, and this is actually reflected in, like, a lot of the other characters, too. The characters are being put into new situations, and you're seeing how they can't handle it. Like, Puss and Donkey, having the body swap, they hate it. Shrek is going to be a father. He hates it. Like Prince Charming is the villain, so him having the dichotomy, which I think he was executed pretty poorly, but I don't think Prince Charming being the villain was a bad call at all. I actually think I guess that's another positive. I like that. I hate him, but I like that he was the villain. It makes sense following Shrek 2. But him, trying to get this thing that he never had, he's like the opposite of what the main characters are going through. It's an interesting dichotomy between protagonist versus antagonist that, the first two movies had. It's just a bit more, either it's a bit more pronounced here, or I just noticed it more because I was desperately trying to think of positives. But I like even Arthur, he thinks he knows what he wants, but then he doesn't get it. And then, he thinks he knows what he wants. Then he learns more about it, decides that it's not for him, but through maturing, figures out that that's what it is. So all of the characters are going through this, and a lot of the, other side characters are helping them go through it. And it is, in theory, I really like that idea to follow up from Shrek 2, and even though we haven't talked about this movie yet and I haven't seen it in a while, I think Shrek Forever After is also a very good follow-up to this idea. That's my positive. Gianna?
Okay. I mean, we talked about the biggest moment that I enjoyed with Random, at the fire. I feel like I just wrote little tiny like bullet points of stuff that made me go, okay. Maybe like some gags or what have you. Like when Charming goes into the pub during unhappy hour and he hangs his cloak up and he thinks it's a hook, but it's actually like a tree guy. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's kind of funny. Also, I guess like more of a real Donkey's a very cute dad. I think he's a very good father.
Yeah,
and that's very cute to see following Shrek 2, because I'm sure I wasn't the only one who was like, I don't know how he will be as a father. So to see that kind of executed very cutely in this, for the little glimpses we got to see, I really got to see, liked getting to see that from Donkey.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
The Dronkies were interesting.
I do like when they have the body swap and Donkey's like, kids, and they go after Puss, and Donkey's like, he gets all upset.
There was one joke with Donkey that kind of made me like go, huh. And it was like, it's set up terribly. And I don't know, maybe just Donkey's delivery. It's like, how can I be having a kid? And then Puss is like, well, when people love each other very much, yada yada. It's like, I know how it happened. I just can't believe it. And then after there's a pause and Donkey goes, how does it happen? I don't know why that made me like kind of chuckle a bit.
Yeah.
Like that made me go,
Barely. There was one. It technically does involve Donkey. After they swap bodies. Oh, they're trying to like bring back all of the fairy tale creature friends, like Gingy in the bakery, and Donkey, as Puss in Boots, tries to like cut his way through, but he can't do like a circle like at all.
Oh yeah.
and Puss as Donkey just kicked the window.
Yeah, that's kind of cute.
Like okay, that's I appreciate that. It's a little that's one of those callbacks that I'll give him credit for. I like.
Yeah. Okay. Can we tear this apart now? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I remember like when I was watching and Artie gets introduced, I was like, why is his voice is so pleasant to listen to? I'm like, who is it? I Googled, it's Justin Timberlake, of course.
Yep.
Of course it's pleasant to listen to.
It's gonna be May, Justin Timberlake.
Oh, that song's perpetually stuck in my head.
It is.
At all times.
Also, another interesting note, when Shrek is like, I'm the mascot now, you hear a song play in the marching band, and you know what that song is?
Buddy.
Murder. That was
It's a good callback.
good callback. Shrek the Third does have decent callbacks. I'll give it that. It's just anything original it tries to make just burns to the ground and is crushed like Prince Charming.
Has kind of fanfic vibes. I don't want to say that, but it kind of does.
Thank you for
which
saying that.
It's so funny that you say that because why?
This, well, I mean, obviously there's the story behind it, but before even knowing the story, I'm watching this and I'm thinking this feels like the roller coaster ride. This feels like the movie they played before roller coaster. Like the characters don't feel that good. They don't feel that natural to what we've known them as. Like it's not clicking that well. It's all the same actors, obviously. Not the same directors. The director of the last two film, Andrew Adams, he couldn't make it for this one. He was busy with his own little side project, The Chronicles of Narnia. So they brought in Chris Miller, the best known as the voice of Kowalski, to do his feature directorial debut. And I find in like a old interview and very illuminating. The director was telling a story that they would like talk with the screenwriters, and the screenwriters would send in a screenplay, and it didn't feel like Shrek. It said literally it felt like a caricature of a Shrek story instead of a real Shrek story. And unfortunately, they never got. I don't think they got out of it. It still feels like a caricature. It still feels like fanfic, like you said. It doesn't really feel like the voice is there. It's weird because there's still dozens of people that work on these films, hundreds maybe. It's not one voice, but
proves that the writing is super important, and not just this film, but a lot of films, and it can make or break a movie.
Yeah,
and also direction. Whoever I forget his name already, but it's not entirely his fault. Probably the writing does play an essential role, and if it does feel like a fan fiction, no matter what you do, it's gonna feel like a fan fiction. Although honestly, there's some fan fictions much better than this.
I believe that. I feel like perhaps I have written fanfics better than this.
I've written fan fictions better than this, and I've only barely written any fan fictions.
I believe it.
Random, what's your favorite Shrek fanfic? I want to know.
Not Shrek the Third.
Oh, I'll avoid that one then. So
yeah.
I'll avoid that one. All right, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. By the way, I'm not gonna.
We've been doing this for how long, and we barely talked about.
Yeah, I know. There's legitimately 32 minutes left on the timer.
To be fair, I think we started the timer a little bit early. But
No. I don't start the timer until you say "Living the DreamWorks." When you finish saying,
okay.
That's when I start the timer.
Then yeah, we killed way too much time.
Yeah, we're probably gonna edit.
We're trying to be way too polite to this film. Let's tear it to shreds.
Yeah, fuck it. I hated it. It sucked. I didn't want to watch any of it. And if I could, it's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. I hated it. Why is Shrek like this?
Why is Shrek so mean? Why is the story so scattershot? It feels like there's 3 different movies in here.
Yeah, and the 3 plots are it's a 2 plot. It's trying to do the A and B plot of Shrek trying to find Arthur, and the B plot of Charming. And there's also the baby shower thing, thing.
Yeah, the pregnancy.
Also blends in with Charming a bit. I don't. Why would Fiona tell Shrek that she's pregnant on a boat? That seems like a more personal thing. In the bed, I get it, that makes sense. But you don't shout, "I'm pregnant," and then you don't do a fucking boat gag.
Oh my gosh, and it's also in front of a lot of people too.
Yeah.
That is such a personal
everybody knows
moment between you and your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get it. You're technically the royal king queen. You want people to know, and you probably told all the princesses, which were basically SNL cameos.
Yeah. Great actresses, by the way.
Great, they did great. They just were given horrid material.
Yes.
There was Snow White. There was sleeping narcolepsy a lot. There was Rapunzel
Poehler,
twist villain.
Yeah, Amy Poehler, Amy Sedaris, Maya Rudolph. There's a lot of SNL great legends.
Yeah, and I guess they were trying to get a piece of that Shrek pie because they thought they would be in something good. No, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Eric Idle.
Oh.
I had a huge argument with other guests of the podcast. Count Rancid about who had the worst career, Eric Idle or John Cleese.
Eric Idle. John Cleese was barely in this movie.
John Cleese is
even then he hammed it up probably like he was supposed to. But the joke, my biggest problem with the entire movie, and I mean the entire goddamn movie, is that the jokes don't know when to quit.
Mm-hmm.
They just keep going on and on, and this is from someone who when as a kid the joke kept doing the jokes on and on. So I know I know when that happens. But like there were some points where they were like, I could name so many instances where like, okay, something remotely funny might happen, but they just keep hammering it fucking in and just being like, isn't this funny? We're gonna keep doing it until it's the beaten dead horse is in the glue factory. And I just poor spirit.
Wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that.
I know.
Oh my god.
But I just feel like I was watching the Good Dinosaur episode, and I noticed how I couldn't really say much because of my rage. It just felt like every joke that they tried to hammer in was just forced, and they were like kept going. It just felt like a bad improviser just being like, "Hey, this is funny, right? Maybe you'll keep doing. Maybe you'll laugh if I eventually do this."
Yeah.
They keep doing that, and I just hated it, and they didn't know when to quit. There were so many jokes where if you just left it alone, it wouldn't have been funny. But it would have been more tolerable.
Well, no, that's what I think the most disappointing part of it is, because, like, Wash has said this before, but, like, bad script, at least be funny. And, like, this could have been, because there were a lot of moments where it's like, I could be laughing at this. The one that I remember the most was when they were interrogating Gingy, and his life flashed before his eyes. Like... Yes.
Nice callback to Farquaad, by the way.
Yeah, that was appreciated.
Again, but Shrek the Third is good at callbacks.
But I remember that playing out, and I'm like, I should be like rolling on the floor. This should be like in Shrek 2 when they shoot the gumdrop button off of the giant Gingy. Mongo, yeah. Not the gumdrop button. So like something like that. Like so funny. And I'm just like, okay.
I know, yeah. It's like by that point you're so over it. Yeah. That's also the same scene where Pinocchio can't lie. And like that compartmentalized him talking to Pinocchio, it's like kind of funny because I think it's going roundabout ways.
Yeah, so that his nose doesn't curl.
Right, exactly. But
it's a clever idea.
It just went on and on and on, and they were trying to build on it, and it wasn't really building on it. I'm like, okay, can we just get to the next scene?
Like if the joke was just Pinocchio has the roundabout way of saying it, Charming's confused, and then someone in the background is like, I think that means Shrek is here. No, it's not. Nose grows. Because that's the punchline. The nose grows. That's the punchline. So if you just cut the fat and skipped right to, no, he's not, then we'd be saying, oh, nice callback to Shrek 2 when he was lying about wearing ladies' underwear.
Yeah, but instead they just do this roundabout thing which goes on for like 30 to 45 seconds. And then even so much that the characters themselves get sick of it. And
that was how it happened, yeah. When like Pig just like blows it out because he was so like tortured by everything. And it's again like it feels like a parody of Shrek. Like it feels like these are what Shrek's jokes are like. So if we just do this way, and in that sense, it feels like first draft. Like it feels like this was the first idea that they had with a joke, and they just got stuck with that. And I'm wondering if it's because they kind of got rushed, because the reason why things feel like so like the whole thing with like Arthur at school, it's a thing that happens for like it's a thing that happens for like 10, 15 minutes, and it had no bearing on anything later on.
Yeah. The only thing I thought was funny about Arthur's school was the name. I thought the name was funny.
Yeah, main Worcestershire.
Worcester, yeah.
Whatever.
Like the trouble was that like when they were originally developing this, the thing with Arthur was like that was actually a huge part of it. Like the huge part of it was gonna be like to help Arthur get his confidence back, to get his groove back. He, Donkey, and Puss were going to help him woo over Guinevere, that crush that was like blowing bubbles. And it's like and they had like a whole sequence where they were gonna like sing, like Puss was gonna sing a song and Donkey was gonna be dancing, and like they had it whole fleshed out. And then somebody at a certain point into this said, "This isn't Shrek's story. This is Arthur's story." And they're like, "Oh, yeah." So they had to like cut out so much of that, and unfortunately, that means that like it feels useless here.
Yeah, and you know what is really weird? Like Artie gets a lot of like screen time, but they really, really make it a point to introduce Lancelot in this,
Mm-hmm.
and like
And Lancelot
almost set
was
him
gonna
up
be
as
a
like
big
a
part.
second. Yeah, they almost set him up as a secondary villain.
Yep. That was
Yeah.
supposed to
Like
be.
no, yeah, no, they didn't do that. They cut it out.
They
He's
cut it
just
out.
like in that movie, and then Jock, and then he's gone from the entire film. I thought he would like come back in some way, shape, or form, but no. And honestly, like, could you imagine? Like, it would be weird, and I don't know how they do it, but like maybe having Lancelot and Charming do something together, or like be
That's what
foils
they-
of each other.
They were supposed to have supposed to have some sort of context where they were trying to like beat Lancelot in this contest. Maybe something to do with jousting. I don't know. I didn't go too far into it, but like you're spot on. Lancelot was supposed to be like a secondary villain, like somebody to boost Arthur's confidence instead of him just being in the middle of the stage saying, "Villains, what are we doing here? Are we not made of flesh and blood?"
It is giving first draft vibes for sure. Like, it's like a mishmash of ideas on the page, and they tried to flesh all of them out and then just tried to make as many of them fit into the runtime as possible. It's just like Shrek threw up on the page, essentially.
Yep. No, the babies of Shrek threw up on the
no,
page.
project that.
Just like in that
God.
fucking nightmare scene.
I
If
will
the-
say about the nightmare scene, this is not a compliment, really. Like, it's clear at the beginning of the movie that Shrek either doesn't want to be a dad or it isn't ready to be a dad, but it is at least refreshing in the nightmare that he does try to keep the baby safe instead of letting, like, knives fall on them and stuff.
Yeah, he just seems overwhelmed and scared to do it. Like
Yes,
he's,
yes.
it's not that he doesn't want them, it's just that he's nervous he's gonna not be a good dad, and he's
Yeah.
worried about the kids. I
Yes.
get it. But then
I was glad that was at least made clear
Yeah.
because I was actually kind of mad about it watching
Yeah,
it at
because
the
Shrek is
beginning.
really poorly written.
yeah.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh wait, there's multiple babies now, and they're all over the place because the big joke is Shrek's gonna have a lot of kids.
Ken,
Oh
Yeah.
wait, Shrek is at a high school graduation and he's naked and the babies are all over there laughing at them. And then he wakes up and oh, it's fine. No, you hear.
no, that was
dog.
the stuff of
And it's-
nightmares.
That should be the thumbnail.
No, I'm not watching the episode if that's the case. But if I can make
Damn it!
if I can make a confession, like I remember I was watching this and I see the baby and then I see like 6 or 7 other babies. My only thought was like, oh my god, poor Fiona. The pain she had to go through. Poor Fiona.
Right? Same. I'm like, bless you, Fiona.
Fiona.
Shrek and Fiona +8.
Oh,
The nightmare was stupid. And Puss and Donkey as Shrek babies was the worst thing I could ever see.
Stuff of nightmare.
yeah, I'm not gonna sleep tonight. That was absolutely cursed.
Absolutely. Why Shrek?
Why Shrek the Third?
Why Shrek the Third?
I mean, it's literally a nightmare. Of course, it's the stuff nightmares.
Well, yes.
But we didn't
Yes.
need to see that. It's not funny. It's
No.
not funny, and it's not even like dramatically relevant. Like, yeah, he's afraid to have kids, but there's so many other subtler ways you could say that. Hell,
Yeah.
even the fog of truth with the fucking baby carriage smoke was more subtle than that.
I agree. Yeah,
Okay.
it looked like a bad, like, old YouTube poop meme or something. That's what it reminded me of. Oh
Okay.
my gosh. I mean,
Especially-
it was 2007, so maybe they were taking a cue from YouTube in that way. You know? I don't know.
I mean, YouTube was a year old, but they were definitely doing poops back then.
They
so.
were, yeah.
Okay. But if we're gonna talk about the fireplace, do both Random and Gianna, I'm sorry to say this because this is both positive for you, but when they were having that heart-to-heart, I was in an uncontrollable fit of laughter, and let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
I think Gianna might know because she's laughing, but there's 2 birds. The bigger one is running away. Why is he leaving? Don't go.
Okay.
Oh, okay. To be
Yeah.
All
fair,
right, fine. No. All right, fine. I'm the small bird. My dad left me, okay?
I do agree.
That
That took me out
That
a
broke
little
me.
bit.
That broke
No,
me.
I get it. I get
You
it.
can ask Nico. I was laughing uncontrollably for
No.
a good like 5 minutes. I didn't even remember Artie said you stink because I was still laughing at that point. Like
No.
it was into the next scene. Like it was daytime and I was still like howling. It's got that
I
big
understand.
music killed my grandma vibes.
Yeah, I get it, because it's acted so Justin
It is.
Timberlake sounds like he doesn't give a fuck.
No,
Right,
Like
I mean,
when I
I don't
finished
know.
laughing, and I'm sorry again, Gianna, I'm so sorry, but I finished
Okay.
laughing. I calmed down and I went, "Who voices this kid? He's terrible."
No, I said his voice was like pleasant to listen to,
Fair,
like the
fair,
tone
fair.
of voice. I mean, he did well at some moments, but him doing the bird thing, that took me out. I'm like, this sounds like he is still like workshopping the line.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we'll get that. Well, that was a practice take. And done. Good. There you go. That's
Good
all we
enough,
need.
good enough.
Like they could only afford him for so many hours, and that's like
Yeah.
the best that they could get out of him, which I don't even blame him because of the writing.
Yeah.
Honestly,
he's one of the worst parts of this movie. He's so
yeah,
much.
no, I agree.
He's so much of what's wrong with this is that he's such a charisma vacuum,
Mm.
and I know that's part of like the point that he's so much of a loser that even the other losers beat up on him, the D&D losers, but like, god damn, he sucks.
Both speeches he did. The first
speech-
one
I was
was
so unconvinced.
the speech at the high school was like,
Ugh.
where's the funny? This is horrible.
Where is the funny?
This is
Yeah.
actual cringe. This is
For sure.
What? Yeah. This like it feels
You know
too
what?
real.
You know what? It was less cringe than Beth or whatever her name was.
I don't remember who Beth was.
Gwen?
Gwen. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I'm
Wow.
so sorry I remember that. Yeah.
Gwen. I always love you. Ew.
I thought it was Guinevere.
Gwen.
Gwen.
Yeah,
Gwen.
Gwen.
I
Pretty
guess they
much.
changed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
Not
was
Beth,
so
not
dumb.
Beth.
It was so dumb. He's basically was like, you shouldn't bully me because I could be your boss one day and I'll fire all of you. That's pretty much the same like thing we got, and I wanted to just
Hey,
I was
so
just-
like my friend over there, she's super into like ogres and stuff, and she was wondering if she could like date with you.
They're totally into
Oh,
college
wow.
guys and mythical creatures.
The any like if you want to just make a black hole of funny, like all the funny around you is sucked in, and all you can think about is like the sweet release of death. You add F to the end of a sentence in a fantasy.
And they
God
did that
damn.
throughout the whole goddamn thing. From the moment they entered high school with the fucking cheerleading, I wanted to die. I wanted to just.
Like, there
Stop.
are medieval stories that I genuinely love, like to make Watch think of SpongeBob. Like Dunces and Dragons, I think the episode is called. I love that episode. It's hilarious. But when they put S for no reason in the words, I'm like, stop.
Especially like Sandy in that episode. But
Yeah.
anyway.
There are great jokes in that episode. Someday,
Oh,
but
yeah.
not today, comes from that episode. It can't be bad.
like the guy at the front of the Medieval Times parody, like they're talking this medieval like language to him. They walk away. He tried to stab himself
Yeah.
with a spear. It's a, someday, but not today.
Like it can't be a bad episode because that joke is in it. All right,
But
But-
the third is nothing like that.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
There's no equivalent to that.
Why is this here? Why is this in here? Why is this speech here? This is
Gosh.
so bad.
The speech is so cringy and awful, and it serves
not-
no other reason. And even Shrek is sick of this shit. And then he's like also excited to be king, and then he's like, "Oh wait, I'm not because it's responsibilities."
We see none of those people again, so it doesn't matter.
No,
It doesn't
If-
matter.
If this was Shrek 1 mid-speech, Shrek would have dragged him out.
Yes. That's how you do
They
that.
knew when
Scene.
to end
Yeah.
jokes in Shrek 1. Like, I'm now also thinking about the Frog Father passing away and how many times he, like, died and came back
like
in the
I
conversation.
said,
It was almost funny once, and then they did it, like, 2 or 3 more times.
yep.
Yeah.
Like I said, they took a joke and burned it to the ground.
Okay.
Beating
the
it.
one
glue.
the one part of that I thought was pretty funny was that Puss didn't know when to take his hat off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when the dad finally died, Donkey goes, "What are you doing? Take the hat off."
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. That was pretty.
That was kind of funny. Yeah.
Again, it's like you were saying earlier. It's almost funny. Like
Yeah,
I'm watching this and I'm seeing the good version of these shows,
Yes.
and somehow they're not landing it.
Yeah, it's so annoying because like the theming and like it's there, like the core idea is there, but the execution is so Shrek the Third.
It's what it feels like I'm sorry to get back on that speech, but what it feels like that with that speech is like it feels like the writers like they wrote like the basic story and then it said we'll put jokes on there later instead of making this situation itself funny. So this speech sucks ass. It takes forever. It takes so long. It's acted terribly. And it's just not. And then it happens again at the end. And it's not funny there either.
And it's just cheesy. Like, they're trying. They're like, it's because of us. Oh, it's because of you. Here, get him. And I'm like, all right, I see the framework of the jokes, but it's terrible. And especially like it's part of what ruins that is it really has nothing to do with the movie, but like that one guy that was Rumpelstiltskin.
Yes.
And knowing and like I haven't seen like Forever After, I was like, oh man.
That's my positive. Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, I forgot.
Knowing Shrek Forever After, oh my god.
They do have Rumpelstiltskin in there, which is weird.
I've never
so
seen
funny. It's
Forever
so funny.
After, so
We'll come back to John, and we'll come back to this in Forever After.
You'll be like, oh my god.
When you see him in Forever After, you will either laugh or go, what?
Okay, interesting.
One of the two. Doesn't matter.
But so these speeches, they're awful. At least there is one or two moments where you go, eh. And Gianna, I've been beating up on you a little bit today, and I feel bad. So I'm gonna do an opposite.
Okay.
In Shrek 1, I said, this misunderstanding, terrible. And you said, well, here's my defense of it. And I still don't like it, but you know what? That is a misunderstanding with actual story meat to it. I may not like it, but fine. The misunderstanding here, pardon my French, what the fuck?
What the fuck? What the fuck? It's so forced. It's so poorly written.
This is
so bad.
we watch. This is one of the worst misunderstandings I have ever seen. Ever.
Even I can't get behind this misunderstanding.
It makes the one in Shrek 1 look like fucking Shakespeare in comparison.
Again, like, do I like that one? Not quite, but it's like, I think about, like, especially what Gianna was saying about, like, why, it at least works, and it's like, okay, like, alright, fine.
Yeah.
What is this?
What is this? And it's like,
it's just like, fuck you, Arthur. Fuck you.
Again, like, the scene at the campfire, like, it's totally useless because 5 seconds later, Shrek is just like, you're a stupid kid and you should go rot underground, you waste of space.
And I get it. You're putting the thing.
But Shrek was trying to save your life. Shut up!
that was the part. It's like, what? And I thought I couldn't follow the plot of Hot Fudge. What is going on? Like, why is this so complicated?
I remember complaining about the misunderstanding in Hot Fuzz. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No misunderstanding is worse than this. Even oh Jesus Christ! Your yelling is justified. Like that's
the one part of the movie that was like, this is Sinbad. That was like the one thing where it's like, this is Sinbad.
It's so bad, and I love how it's just like, Shrek was trying to protect you. No, it wasn't.
Even if he was, it was like the worst way he could have gone about doing it. Like,
you could have like given him like a signal or something, like a wink.
A little wink. Yeah,
it's like
Charming wouldn't have noticed. He's a fucking moron.
I was just gonna say, and Shrek knows this. Prince Charming is an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Instead, you make Shrek look like an asshole and the kid look like an idiot. So.
And also, you make like Charmin look like even more of an ineffectual villain because like Donkey says like, oh, he said that so that Charmin could let you go. Wait, why did Charmin let him go?
Yeah, why did Charming let him go? Because Charming was about to like, he
what
kills
does he have
Shrek.
to do with
Arthur is still
anything?
the next heir. This accomplishes nothing.
Yeah, like eventually you're gonna have to kill him.
Yeah, like what? Huh?
Who cares?
Like he just pushes the bodyguard. It's just like, get out of my way. I'm moping now.
I'm an angsty teenage boy.
I have
My
emotions.
father died. My bird father died, or left me, or whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit.
My father left me, okay?
I don't care.
Birds killed my grandma, okay?
I want to talk about two characters and how much I hate them. Which one do you want to do first, Charming or Merlin?
Okay,
I
hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to you guys. There's 9 minutes left.
I don't care. We are making time.
No.
Let's do Charming first because I feel like your roast of Merlin's gonna be funnier.
Yeah. I wouldn't make time for Charming for you, but I would make time for Merlin. So I guess
Okay.
let's do Charming.
Charming
So
is
again,
just,
I love the idea because it directly picks up from Shrek 2, which is where this story picks up. And I don't think Charming being like this idiot whiny of a villain is even like a bad thing necessarily. Because, I mean, one, those kinds of villains can work, and two, it's like, we literally have Farquaad. Like, it can work. And, like, he might not be a fairy godmother, but, I mean, like, who is? Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But it's the writing. The writing, it's so... Like, hey, do you like bad stage theater jokes? That's the character.
That's literally it. Like, even from the beginning, like, they think they're so clever because they foreshadow his death in the beginning. Shot by shot with the tower and everything.
Yeah.
Good for you. No. What I really hate about Charming is that, like, they make him both competent and incompetent at the same time, and they don't know which one to stick with.
Flip of a coin.
Flip of a coin. There's moments where he's, like, intimidating and, like, there's moments where in the beginning where he's, like, super... It's the Charming we know. Incompetent, relies on his looks to get everything done, a spoiled brat, mama's boy. But then all of a sudden he gets competent. No. Like, if you're gonna have him try to recruit the villains, just have him, like, fail. Then that's what he would do.
That is how it would happen, because Fairy Godmother did everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. He doesn't know what he's doing. Just have him get kicked out of the poison apple, and maybe Lancelot, I don't know, maybe step in and take care of it. It would be weird to get them to get
Artie's story to matter.
Yeah, but no.
Right. No, I mean, it would make so much more sense for somebody to team up with Charming because he's so incompetent and he's used to being led. And I mean, the little bit that we saw of that Lancelot guy is that he's at least capable at jousting, so we can assume there is some kind of brain up there, perhaps.
Yes.
I'm reaching so far right now.
Yeah.
But if there was some way for them to stumble upon each other, that would have been at least an interesting duo.
All it would take for Lancelot to hear, oh, Arthur's king? I should be king. Let me go over, follow them, and see what I can do here to convince him. All you would need to do.
And especially after that awful speech where he's like, I'll banish everyone who bullied me. He bullied him a lot. It would make sense.
Like, following from what you were saying, Gianna, I'm going to make...
fan fiction.
To follow
we need to rewrite Shrek the Third, all of us.
Following... Oh, there's an idea for our next script, Shrek 3, The Third Wheel. That I'll be following.
Yeah. Oh my god, we do a dramatic reading, please.
Oh,
I'm in.
I'm in. That could be our bonus episode, please.
Maybe. I'll write you. Maybe.
Following from what Gianna was saying earlier, I'm gonna make a reference that I don't think she understands. That Prince Charming needed an Okanogi. Like,
oh my god!
Prince Charming needed that. Like, really, he's like he's good at tactics. Like, he needs like a secondary villain that's good at the tactics, good at the planning,
and we'll call him out on his bullshit.
And call him out on his bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's trying to execute his own thing, but the stupid asshole is with his terrible ideas.
Oh my god, it's literally Okanogi, you're right.
Yeah, that's
over my head.
I'm so sorry, but like
totally fine.
I can't believe it. It's that Wash and Random are the ones suggesting Higurashi and not me. Oh my god.
It's alright. Watch Higurashi if you have the time.
He even could have been like, man, look at his nose.
Yeah. And Rumpelstiltskin.
Okay, alright, Higurashi over. Alright, call Higurashi over.
Alright,
exactly what Gianna says. this needed the secondary villain. It needed for make a different reference, it needs someone like Dennis the Menace. Not Dennis the Menace. Dennis the Assassin from the SpongeBob movie. I can't believe I went to Dennis the Menace. Dennis the Assassin from the SpongeBob movie.
Yeah,
Somebody who's just cold, collected, and trying to execute a plan. An actual threatening villain to this complete dumbass Plankton.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. And if you really want to make it, like, really teamed to the theme of, like, Shrek being a father, here's an idea. Who's Charming's father? Is he...
Right, we need more daddy issues in this film.
Have Charming's father be, like, fucking, I don't know, like, some sort of, like, really badass fairy tale creature who gets shit done and is, like, really... wants to take over the kingdom to the point where, and he will like abuse the Charming to the point where like the reason he is how he ends up who he is, and he's a terrible father. And like that's how like make it one way to make an antagonist is make what the protagonist would be if he was like that. It was like if things went wrong, and if you brought in Charming's father as like some sort of like very like hard, and he's like the worst father ever imaginable. Not only could you get the point of view of like of Shrek's story being a dad matter, but also like even fucking redeem Charming even. Like it would be weird, but maybe
I kind of like that idea. My only problem with it is that his dad sounds like a mean fairy godmother, but otherwise like very similar to how like she treated Charming, just mean instead of doting.
Yeah, I'm racking my brain for what like male Disney character could stand in as Charming's dad, but I'm kind of drawing a blank because all I can think of is like Eric from The Little Mermaid, but I don't know how.
I'm trying to think. Like
I mean, yeah, you have a fair point because like I think we said in the last episode that like Prince Charming is the logical conclusion of Prince Charming characters in Disney films. Just like airheaded. There's so many, works off the good looks, makes everybody else do the hard work. Like tries to get the princess that he thinks he's earned. And now that he doesn't have a princess anymore, he's kind of got nothing. He's just like, oh, I want to be king now.
Yeah, and there's
take over the world.
There's got to be something, but it would require more writing. And again, you could do like Rumpelstiltskin as like his father, but that'd be fucking weird.
Yeah.
But it would make more sense.
If we could think of another character, but that would require us to look on the bright side of life.
Or you could rewrite Lancelot to be older and his father.
Always look on the bright
I don't want to talk about him.
Of life.
I do want to talk about him, but I don't. Kill me.
I want you to stop. I set this up for you, Random. You got to start.
I know.
It's Shrek the Third, Jolly Rotten. There's something you've forgotten.
Eric Idle.
And that's the Jerry Seinfeld is next.
Oh God,
that is next.
All right, this is going over the timer, but I don't give a shit. Yeah. So Eric, they were like, it makes sense if you're going to have Arthur in there to have Merlin because of the Disney film and the Sword of the Stone. And they're like, okay, Eric Idle is Merlin. Interesting idea. Could work in theory. It makes sense. What? And they're like, okay, what could we do with him? Make him like a crackpot teacher who has a nervous breakdown and relies on like huggy-feelies shit. Fine! But still,
not funny.
Not funny, but
at all.
Still not this movie's Merlin yet.
No, but what happens, what they do with him is like, yeah, I'll help you even though I don't barely know you, but we gotta do a touchy-feely, emotional campfire scene, and I'm going to just be so contradictory, and we're going to reveal our feelings and of what we see. Oh, plot dust. There you go. You see that? Oh, that's great. Like, granted, Arthur's moment was terribly acted, but like maybe it will. Even if it wasn't, he's like, oh, this guy's a nut. Like, I get the joke, but like, why would you fucking say that?
Right, like if I was so confused by that statement because again, it was just another forced joke. Because if his whole thing is like, we're doing this to get in touch with your subconscious and really dig deep, and like Arthur does that, and then he's immediately insulted and bullied for it, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It
Like,
doesn't
what
make
character growth comes from that? Like, he's just
Exactly.
continuing to be bullied.
Yeah, and then after that, again, I mentioned this before, but I'm gonna mention it again because this is the moment where I literally just shouted "fuck you" in my car, and I just was like,
Well, that's
And-
the New Jersey experience.
"Yep," and and then I just was like, and then they were just like having this moment together, and you hear, and then it's like, "That thought I'd hide in the mood," and the joke just lingers there with the freaking harmonica music. And he just turns it off and leaves. I'm like, why? It's not funny.
I was
It's
so
not
mad when that happened.
Funny. Not funny.
Timer's up, by the way. But yeah,
I
no.
don't care. No. It's not. And then he goes on. He's like, even though he offered to help them before, he's like, no, I can't help you. I'm washed up. And then Arthur cries. And that's apparently enough to just get him to do his shit. And then that's great. You see him, this little gag with him on the piano with Hook, which you think would be funny, but no, it's not. He's useless. He's literally there just to like tell bad jokes, try and get that campfire scene to happen forcefully, and even then barely. And then he just makes it so Puss and Donkey switch bodies. There's really no point with him. You could have done so much more. Hell, fucking make him the antagonist. Make him Charming's father.
Right? Oh my god.
We're gonna write this fanfic.
We're gonna write
We're
this.
writing
It's
this
gonna be so good.
Honest to God, that would make sense magically, even.
It would. No, I was thinking that too, because I mean, like, fairy godmother.
Yeah, even
like,
like have it like Merlin is like plotting behind it. I don't fucking know. I don't give a shit anymore.
yeah, we'll
I
figure it
don't.
out. We'll figure it out. We'll workshop it. We will workshop it more than the fucking writers of Shrek.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
was
but
gonna
that's
say,
the thing
'cause
that the
you-
writers were
you're
doing the
saying
same thing where they were like suggesting ideas like, I don't fucking care anymore.
No, nobody
Right.
cares.
Nobody
cares. Merlin doesn't care. Eric Idle doesn't care. Shrek doesn't care. Donkey doesn't care. The directors don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody fucking cares.
I gotta tell a quick Eric Idle story. Eric Idle stormed out of the theater from watching this film, not because of any jokes, but because in the very beginning, they have a scene where like Prince Simon is like on the stage, and somebody's using coconuts to create like horse hooves, and Eric Idle stormed out and threatened to sue DreamWorks
Monty
because
Python and the Holy Grail, yep.
because of their Holy Grail joke.
Yep.
First
Oh my
off,
god.
First off, of all things to be mad about. Second, this is not that close, dude. This is a very common thing, and that's what the Holy Grail joke was about.
Yeah, I was parodying it,
It
yeah.
was a parody of that theatrical, like it's Foley. That's literally what Foley is. It's coconut. He was like, I'm gonna sue you, and they were like, it was a homage. I swear.
Oh my
I'm
god.
gonna sue you, oh my god.
What of all things to be mad about?
Well, I still gotta say this just for the sake of tradition. You know who we're gonna sue?
The timer.
The
timer.
timer. We do. That being said, we might want to watch that Shrek fanfic. We don't want to get sued.
Just don't put any coconuts. We're fine.
Well, I guess okay. Well, before we wrap up, Gianna and Wash, I didn't hear too much of what you two had to say about Merlin.
That you just really tried to make a comedic character and failed miserably.
Mm-hmm.
So miserably.
Mm-hmm.
He's not funny.
Yeah.
He's not funny. He's not endearing. He like so many of these characters are a charisma vacuum. They just feel fake. And it's something remarkable when we do an episode like this, and we didn't really do which character do you want to talk about? we didn't talk about Shrek. We didn't talk about Fiona and Donkey and Puss.
Oh,
Because-
Fiona's in this film?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, barely.
They have nothing to do. Like even the body swap thing is just kind of useless. Like
Yeah.
it's not a thing that like makes them learn what it's like on the other side. It has no purpose. It's just there for like an occasional gag, and then it's done with. It's like you were saying earlier. It just feels like they had all these ideas and they just had to like plop them into the script, and it says, "Fine, we just got to start animating already, so we don't miss the summer 2007 deadline."
Mm-hmm.
Gross. Fucking
Final
gross.
Speaking of gross, final thoughts.
I want my hour and a half back. Does that work for final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean,
that's all you want to say.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
I always like being the one to ask the guests this, and I'm very much looking forward to the confidence in your answer. How does compare for your rankings? Is this better or worse than Shrek 1 and Shrek 2?
I really gotta think on
Oh,
it.
good point.
Oh my
valid.
gosh. Yeah, no, it's absolutely like pales in comparison to Shrek 1 and 2.
I'm so glad to hear that.
I would, if I didn't say that, I would 100% understand if you disowned me forever.
I would have left.
We wouldn't be friends anymore.
Everyone just slowly leaves the group chat.
You block me on everything.
What happened to the Shrek the Third episode? It never saw the light of day.
Cancel this anime podcast. One of the hosts likes Shrek the Third.
Anime podcast.
Oh man.
Okay.
What's that? You don't think Shrek the Third is the worst shoujo anime canceled podcast?
Oh my god.
I guess I'll go next. I'll just get my thoughts out of the way because I feel like, well, I definitely feel less passionately than Random. I can tell you that. But I mean, I definitely didn't like it. I can go on and on about things. When I have a complaint about something, I speak my mind. But in reality, like, I don't hate a lot of things, and it's really hard to get me to hate things. And, like, I'll be perfectly honest, like, I don't hate Shrek the Third. I really dislike it. I strongly dislike it. But do I hate it? No, I don't think. I think, like, there's only one movie that we've watched for this that I've hated so far, and that was Sinbad. And when I compare this to Sinbad, I see a lot of things that I actually do, only in comparison to Sinbad, mind you. But I do see a lot of little things that it's like, oh, that actually kind of worked. And the movie's not sexist, for one. So like, I mean, when I said I had the ranking figure out right away, second from the bottom. Other than Sinbad, nothing like Spirit is like, I think Random even said that. Spirit is like, cinematic masterpiece compared to this. This is a low point. This is definitely a low point. I don't ever see a reason to come back to this, especially because, well, what if you want to watch a trilogy? And it's like, 1, 2, 4, that's the trilogy.
Yes.
So there is no reason to ever come back to this. I guess, like, I don't know, if I want to put myself in a bad mood, that's a reason I could go back to watch Sinbad, but, like, I seriously never see a reason to come back to it. And that's the big thing with this movie compared to everything else. I mean, Sinbad just, frustrated me so much more. But everything else, the thing with Shrek the Third, there's no reason for me to come back to it. It has no reason to exist. Why bother?
I guess I'll go next because I'm gonna let Random charge his mana.
The look on his face is just like,
He's getting like redder just looking at me. I'm in a similar boat with Claire in that I didn't really hate this, mainly because I was something that we didn't say during this. I was bored. I was very bored.
Yeah.
Very, very valid.
It was so unfunny. It was so boring. It was so embarrassing. Like watching this and just realizing like how much they get wrong about Shrek. There's a critic. I wish I got his name. But there's one critic that I read from the time, that said that like somehow they like blasphemize something that's not that sacred. That's what Shrek the Third is. It feels like a blasphemy, and Shrek is not that sacred. Shrek the Two is fantastic, obviously, but like Shrek the Third is so bad. It's just, if you're not gonna have a good script, be funny, and this isn't funny. Fuck it. I'm looking at my ranking like, I had it above Ants.
I knew it. I knew that's what you were gonna say. I knew it. Whenever you watch a movie that you're bored by, you always start with, I had it above Ants, but every time.
You know what? I wasn't as bored with this as I was with Spirit. So yeah, I'm gonna put this in between Ants and Spirit. I never thought I'd do the day, but there it is.
What?
There it is, a CGI. Oh wait, I forgot about Shark Tale. The other CGI. I somehow forgot about Shark Tale. Oh my man, God. This is such a bad time for DreamWorks.
Yeah.
How did this feel like more of like a cash grab? If you know what this, it feels like, Jeff. It feels like if Disney had made Shrek and Katzenberg was trying to one up them. You know, that's what it feels like. It feels like the Shark Tale of Shrek.
Is this the Shark Tale of the Shrek movie?
How bad can you get? Very.
I feel defeated. I don't know if a lot of this is my poor viewing experience, but I don't think watching this in my comfy computer with air conditioning would have helped. This was boring. This was badly written. This was awfully standardized of the characters, like to the nth degree. I fucking hated it. I'm sorry. I do hate it. I genuinely hate this movie. And I think it's because I like the fact that I like Shrek 1 and 2 more than I thought I did in the past. It really, stabs... Shrek the Third stabs me better than Prince Charming ever stabbed Shrek. Fuck. Apparently
that's how I felt watching Shrek the
Third. Yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
Okay, keep it in.
I'm feeling... I'm trying to be calm here, but this is literally the shitty... This is such a fucking mess of a film. I can't even yell anymore. I'm just so fucking defeated about how awful this piece of trash is. It really bums me out because it's both boring and awful. It was either so boring I couldn't give a shit, or it was so much of a bastardization that I just was angry. Especially with the misunderstanding, Merlin, all the characters, really. Again, there was some redeemable things, but even then, the campfire scene is ruined because of what's before and after it. I genuinely hate this movie. I'm sorry, it's below Sinbad for me. I fucking despise it.
All right.
Was it? If I'm not, I could be wrong on this, but didn't you put Shark Tale below Sinbad? Or am I wrong?
No. According to this list, no.
Oh, cool. Okay,
but I could have changed it.
I'm not going to complain. I could just be remembering wrong, but okay, that's still fair. That's fair.
Either way, Shrek the Third is on the bottom of the bottom, and I never want to watch it again. And thankfully, I don't really have a choice. It's not on any streaming services.
True. Good point.
Yeah.
Maybe your nephew is just gonna have the worst idea ever.
I will not watch it with him. I'm expecting you to ask a question, Claire.
Oh, I know exactly what question. Is this better than Coco? Same podcast series too.
Well,
I know the answer is yes. I know what you're building up to.
Yeah.
All right, but seriously, you want me to ask? I will oblige.
Gianna.
I will oblige. Well, if you want Gianna to ask, that's fine too.
Gianna, do you know about how I feel about The Good Dinosaur?
No, I don't.
It is my least favorite Pixar movie that I have raged over.
Yeah.
And
Great episode.
Great episode. It's hilarious. It's just mostly just me spouting uncontrollable rage. Like this episode, for instance. I think a little bit less yelling though.
I don't know about that.
And I really hate it. It like gave me a headache.
Oh.
I don't know which one is worse.
Well, maybe me wording it like that, or just speaking it into existence will help. Random. Which is worse, The Good Dinosaur or Shrek the Third?
Trying to think of which more annoying, Arlo or Merlin.
Merlin's in there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
with me going, would that help? Would that help?
I think I'm gonna have to watch them back to back, aren't I?
No!
Don't do that to yourself.
Don't do that to yourself.
Don't do it.
Don't do
I
it.
just die. If I'm based on my logic, Good Dinosaur was terrible and awful. Shrek the Third's a disappointment because, in a way, you expect a sequel to be better than the last one.
Do you for movies?
Oh, for Shrek, I did a little bit.
Fair.
Because the sequel was banger. It was
fair.
It was damn good.
I mean, DreamWorks is typically very good at sequels. In the interest of fairness,
Yeah, they're very really decent at sequels. Just not this fucking one. And I really need to think about it, but I feel I want to say Shrek the Third is worse, but that might be just because of my watching experience.
I mean, it's
really
kind of
bad.
fresh in your mind too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to really think about it. But right now they're like tied. I hope nothing is worse from DreamWorks library for me than Shrek the Third or Sinbad. But I genuinely don't know.
Yeah,
And
that's
That
fair.
is, I haven't heard of like much past this that is like truly like bottom of the barrel.
I've heard of one possibly, but we'll get.
I know. There's a couple. What's interesting is that at this point, like, if we're talking both about Shrek movies, there are definitely a few movies left that have the potential to be worse than Shrek the Third. There are a few movies that have the potential to be better than Shrek 2. Like, we still have the high highs and the low lows.
Yeah.
I can think of one that Gianna might join us on too. But we'll get to that.
Ooh.
But yeah, I hate this movie. It sucks. I never want to fucking see it again.
Here.
Here. Hey now, you're an all-star.
Get your game on. Go play.
I was asleep, and then I woke up. However the lyrics go, I forget.
Yeah.
And then Live and Let Die. The soundtrack was awful too.
We didn't talk about that.
the soundtrack.
Which
It was
is
so funny.
Talk about
Based
it.
on the previous two movies, we literally have a musical expert with us. We didn't talk about the music once.
No, it's fine. I
It's so
appreciate
bad.
being called a musical expert, though.
Why Live or Let Die? Why
It
I
doesn't
had
have
the same
Die in the
question.
title. Isn't that funny?
That doesn't
Isn't
make
it
sense.
funny?
It's like,
For
Oh,
those you didn't see, Gianna just whacked her head with a water bottle?
yeah.
Okay. I'll join you.
Just,
Ow.
This isn't Sinbad. I'm not gonna. I remember doing that for Sinbad. I bashed my head into a water bottle. I remember.
Mine isn't plastic. It's actually kind of
Yeah.
a little bit
yeah, don't
Metal
hurt
thing,
yourself.
yeah.
Mine is like empty plastic.
Yeah.
On that note, God, I am so glad we're done with this piece of shit.
The next movie is gonna be like a calm, simple palate cleanser, right?
Okay.
Is it?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't say that very sarcastically. Gianna, do you know what's next, by the way? By chance?
You
Next for you guys
Yes.
or next for us?
Next for the three of us.
I don't know what's next for all of y'all. What have you got next?
So up next, now don't be surprised when I say this.
Yes.
Stop.
This might be a bit of a surprise, but it's okay. We'll be fine. The next
Yes.
movie is about jazz.
Like Jay?
You like Jay?
Oh my god. I'm actually kind of sad I'm not part of that. I can't wait to hear this episode.
Oh, we're if there's one palate cleanser we need after Shrek the
Yeah,
Third.
I am so excited because every time I've watched B-movie, I've either been a dumb kid or I've been in the completely wrong frame of mind for it. So I am very excited to jump into it and actually be like, okay, let me look at this movie the way that you should look at B-movie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been looking forward to this one.
Yes.
That's great.
I'm looking forward to anything after this. But
I guess my joke didn't land there.
Honestly, not that I didn't enjoy this experience.
Did I misspeak it? What did I do wrong?
But no, I'm just saying.
I said I've been looking forward to it.
I didn't even hear that.
I didn't hear the H sound. Oh my god.
Oh, god damn it.
No,
it's alright.
Why? You thought too much about that one. You didn't just say like B.
I was so
You should
sad.
have
It's
said
like, no.
I am Beehive looking forward to this one.
No.
You would have gotten it.
I'm sorry. It's all right. I'm sorry that it's probably gonna bug you the rest of the day, but it's okay.
I'm sorry that us not getting your joke stung you a little bit.
Yeah. It's
God,
alright.
the embarrassment is gonna buzz me all day.
On that note, B-movie next time. I'm so glad this is done. Time for plugs. Gianna, where can we find you?
All right, hi, I'm Gianna Luna. You can find me at Gianna_Luna_ everywhere across socials. By the time this comes out, will that be after August?
Shrek 2 is in August, then yes.
Shrek 2 is coming out in August. Like, this is probably gonna be, what? October?
Oh, okay, then definitely. You can stream my single Twilight Champagne. It'll be out everywhere you can stream music. And I also host the Shoujo Sunday podcast. It's like Ice Cream Sunday, where we talk about shoujo and shoujo adjacent properties. And you can find us at Shoujo Sunday everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yay!
Yay! This has been a nice experience with you and very therapeutic for me and hopefully all of us.
It's been wonderful. Despite the content, I had so much fun.
This was an absolute blast.
As always. No matter how bad the movie, I think I even said this about Sinbad, is like a desperate excuse to, find value in that movie. I love talking about the movies with you guys, no matter what.
Yeah.
It's weird that, like, the movies that, like, we just had the least good time with, we have the most fun talking about.
It was very therapeutic for me.
The good movies are exciting, the bad movies are fun. That's
yeah.
And the boring movies are bleh.
Yeah.
Anyways, now that's not the only plug we got. Plug!
If you've liked what you've listened to, you can check us out on our Twitter. Twitter.com/WRK podcast. You can check us out in video form, youtube.com/WRK podcast. And you can check us out in audio form, wrk.simplecast.com. I know it feels like I'm doing a character, but I was just in the wrong mental space that I've just kind of broken down already.
Are you okay?
Welcome to the club. We got jackets.
Are you alright?
Shrek 1!
Do you
Shrek 2.
Do you need some help to be better?
It's okay, honey.
Yes,
I was
finally,
thinking about
I had that one on my mind, but it's like
I was literally thinking about what to do for Honey, but it just oh god.
Well, Randy, you need to be quicker.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that joke flew over my head. On that note,
with these puns, it's like we're a collective hive mind. We haven't even talked about B-movie this time.
Yeah, but it's gonna be. I pray it's better than that.
This makes it
It's gotta be
lack of
better than this.
jokes.
It has to be.
Yeah. On that note, I'm fucking done with Shrek the Third.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm the Wash.
I'm Clay.
I'm Gianna.
This mad scene ain't dope, yo. Do you dig it? Because I don't. I will never dig Shrek the Third.
I'm not gonna stop recording.
Why? Why? Why does it exist? Why is it here? Why? I could have watched Elementals, but no! We had to watch Shrek the Third! I don't even know if Elemental's any better! But here we are! Here it is! I want to play Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, man! I don't want to play this anymore.
Every time I'm about to hit the button, it gets better and better.
Oh, good for you!
That's a good point.